What's in the stars for 2020? The horoscope for the new decade has a rare cosmic lineup. Let me guess, Mercury's going into retrograde, Jupiter's moving into Capricorn, and the Earth is going to crash directly into the sun. That's the vibe I've been picking up ever since this new decade started, but I think I know how to fix it. TikTok, World War 3, and the Hype House are already ruining my 2020. Here's why. Barely a month into the new year, and World War 3 TikTok compilations are now a thing.
But if the world was ending, you'd come over, right? You come over and you'd let's go.
If that's not enough to prove that this decade is going to be awful, I really don't know what is. I feel like the world is a sitcom and we're on season 12. Like, the first few seasons were cute at the time, even though looking back they're a little problematic. But at this point, the show has just been on for too long. It's not making as much money, none of the actors want to be here anymore, and we're headed to an inevitable and abrupt cancellation. But not because of World War 3. There's a political subtext behind the World War 3 meme, which I will not be getting into in this video because, scientifically speaking, eel politics, no thank you. But as an objective fact, nobody is going to be drafted into World War 3. And as for the war itself,
World War 3 is not going to happen.
But of course that wasn't enough to stop Twitter. Tweets started popping up left and right, and before we knew it, World War 3 was trending on Twitter with over 1 million tweets. But then one of those tweets turned out to be a meme, and another, and another. Within less than 24 hours, World War 3 had become a meme. Some of them were even funny. Even I posted World War 3 tweets, like this one. Wait, that's just my username. I guess you should follow me on Twitter if you want to see them. Anyway, like all good Twitter discourse, it eventually trickled up to TikTok.
I'm in Iran.
Everyone joined in, and the World War 3 hashtag on Twitter quickly racked up over 400 million views.
Living fast, bitch, I love the gang, gon' granny eye, get them boys my last.
I know my purpose. I know my purpose. I know my purpose. I know my purpose. I know my purpose.
So basically, that's the story of how for a brief second, everyone thought we were going to be drafted into the Third World War. And then once we realized that wasn't the case, we just memed it into oblivion on TikTok. This all happened within the first week of the year, by the way. That's how we set the stage for this new decade. But like I said, I know exactly how to fix the situation. But first, there's an even deeper level of irony to all of this that nobody has talked about so far. Legally speaking, TikTok wouldn't even be allowed in World War 3. It's been banned by the United States military as a security risk. See, the real cringe on TikTok isn't the people on the app. Then again, I may be biased because I'm on the app, but we don't talk about that. No, the real cringe is TikTok itself, because TikTok is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, and ByteDance is bad at everything. For example, security. Last year, the United States conducted a security review, and their conclusion was that government personnel should remove the app from their phone because it was a cybersecurity threat. They didn't go into detail about what exactly was wrong with the app, but this year we got the information. Checkpoint Research conducted their own independent review of the app last December, and they published the whole thing this January, including screenshots. Apparently, anybody who knew how could mess around with some of the code on TikTok's website and get access to any user's real name and date of birth. In addition to that, hackers could send a text message directly from TikTok's verification number, leading to fake links which would then give hackers control over people's accounts, whether that's viewing and deleting videos, making accounts accept unwanted followers, or worst of all, making private videos public. Now, generally I would say if you click on a shady link and wind up getting your account hacked, that's pretty much natural selection. Like, come on, you knew that email was worded a little too strangely to be official. But the thing is, these aren't email links. These are text messages coming directly from the same number that you use to verify your TikTok account. You can't blame anybody for not realizing it's unofficial. When you take that into consideration, along with the fact that the majority of TikTok's users are kids, suddenly things are starting to seem a bit more sinister. You think you're just lip syncing to Charlie XCX, but meanwhile, some guy in a basement somewhere has your real name, date of birth, and private videos. Now, to their credit, ByteDance allegedly fixed all of these TikTok security issues in December, but that was literally last month, and TikTok has been around for at least a couple of years. If the security bugs weren't enough, ByteDance is also extremely unethical, as they were actively hiding videos from disabled creators. According to the German tech blog netzpolitik.org, they got their hands on leaked documents where ByteDance instructed their moderators to look at TikToks to see if their users had disabilities such as autism or Down syndrome, and to flag those users' accounts and hide them from view. This was apparently done to limit cyberbullying, but for some reason, the moderators were also instructed to hide accounts from users that were overweight or LGBTQ. So like, where do I even start? You know what? I'm not gonna start. I'm just gonna say that there's a word for this, and it rhymes with discrimination. And is discrimination. How are you gonna limit cyberbullying by bullying people before the cyberbullies can get to them? It's almost like it has nothing to do with preventing bullying, and you're just bullying. Also, in what world is it okay to just look at someone and guess whether or not they're LGBT, autistic, or overweight, so you can figure out if you should treat them differently?
TikTok is literally trash.
But once again, ByteDance has apparently stopped doing this, and they said they realized it was not the right approach. I'm so glad they came to the conclusion that discrimination is wrong. Can we just get a round of applause for their bravery? The last thing that's creepy is that ByteDance was developing a feature that lets users create their own deepfakes, scanning your face and digitally placing it on someone else's body. Now, this is the same type of feature that's found in any app that allows you to do a face swap, but my question is, do I really want some Chinese company notorious for security issues scanning my face and storing that information in their data? What makes it creepier is that this feature isn't even in the app. It's just in the app's code. The only reason we knew TikTok could scan your face at all was because this code was found by an Israeli research company called Watchful.ai. And do you know what ByteDance said once they got called out for having deepfake code built in? They had no intention of using it, and they would be removing the code to avoid confusion. I'm becoming increasingly convinced that we live in a dystopian society. The app has over 1.5 billion downloads, making it one of the most widely used social platforms. And yet, it's a hotbed for privacy breaches and unethical behavior. This is literally the plot of any sci-fi movie where the computers turn on us. We're not on season 12 of a sitcom, we're on movie 6 of The Terminator. Technology is scary, but also we're tired of this, and nobody wanted it. So what's up on our new decade checklist? Rumors of war? Check. Scary companies watching us? Check. You know, is it just me, or is this beginning to look a lot like the previous decade? All we need now is a group of problematic influencers to make some giant mistake, and oh look, there they are, the Hype House.
Hey, yeah, get the money, yeah. Yeah, I just stack it up and save. Never be a day I blow 100 for a chain. No. I drop 100 for a crane.
Now, the Hype House is the final thing I want to talk about in this video, and it's just a little footnote, because if you want to deep dive into their content, you should just check out Casey Aonzo's video on them after this. But there's still one little point that I want to make about them. Basically, the Hype House is a group of TikTok influencers. Okay, the term TikTok influencers physically hurt me to say. It physically hurt me to edit. It physically hurt me to write. Anyway, these TikTok influencers, there's about 20 of them. They all moved into a mansion together called the Hype House, where apparently all they do is make TikToks all day, which in turn gives them enough money to keep living in a mansion. Now, that's not the issue. Well, let's be honest, that's definitely the issue. But that's not why I'm bringing them up. My real issue is with the members. Daisy Keach, 20 years old. Tony Lopez, 20 years old. Addison Rae, 19 years old. Andreas Lopez, 22 years old. Charlie D'Amelio, 15 years. Oh no, she's literally a child. Why would you ever do this? Please stop.
New wave. New freaking wave.
Either this girl's parents let her move into a house with a bunch of adults so she could make more TikTok money, or her parents moved into the house with her, meaning they're paying to live there using their 15-year-old daughter's TikTok money. I derive no enjoyment from my continued existence on this planet. In conclusion, there's something disturbing about seeing a bunch of teenagers celebrate themselves on an app designed to silence them. There's something weird about making United States military jokes on an app banned by the United States military. And it's not even slightly weird that we have adults moving in with teenagers into mansions that they afforded from making 15-second videos on the Chinese video app. But you know what? I think it's finally time for us to admit that it's not the kids that are the issue here. It's TikTok. So now at this point, you may be wondering what my grand solution is. How can I solve World War III, get rid of the Hype House, and make TikTok worthless by taking away its most popular users? Simple. I think we should draft the Hype House into World War III. See, it's that easy. Complex problem, simple solution. That's what I do here on my channel. I fix entire decades. I literally deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. Anyway, all that being said, follow me on TikTok. My username on TikTok is @DeAngelno. There's a link down below, and I too would love to make TikTok mansion money. TikTok, if you're watching this, please sponsor me. This video is just a lighthearted joke, haha. Except for the articles and objective facts. Whoa, I jungle. Anyway, looks like we're getting to the content of this, so leave a like to what you think and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and a big thank you to my 276,000 subscribers. Okay, bye. Whoa, I jungle. Whoa, I jungle.
我爱中国
Whoa, I jungle. Maybe. Whoa, I jungle. Whoa, I jungle. I tried.